When compared to practically any other All-Star game out there, the Pro Bowl has always failed to gain a lot of attention and viewership. People always felt that the game was low quality, badly timed, insignificant, and lacked major stars. Because of this, the NFL has tried to come up with new ways to revive their All-Star Pro Bowl, and they've recruited Peyton Manning to help. Today, we'll be taking a look at that and some other news. Let's begin. First, what changes is the NFL making to the Pro Bowl? The NFL isn't outright replacing the Pro Bowl, but the changes it's going to make will completely change the game as we know it. Instead of the regular full-contact game, the Pro Bowl will now consist of non-contact games and challenges such as flag football. They will be partnered with Peyton Manning's Omaha Productions to produce the event, and the entire Pro Bowl week will now be known as the Pro Bowl Games. Essentially, it seems like the NFL is moving away from an all-star format to sort of an Olympic-like format. While it's strange that the NFL would create an entire game series that doesn't have a traditional game of football, all of the competitions held will be at least somewhat football-related. The NFL has claimed that the response to these changes in the Pro Bowl has been pretty much universally positive for both teams and players. One of the main criticisms of the Pro Bowl was that it happened too close to the Super Bowl itself, which led to many players being understandably concerned for their safety. Imagine getting injured right before the Super Bowl. It's no wonder that the teams that actually play in the Super Bowl don't ever send their players to the Pro Bowl. Up next, why did the Pro Bowl need to be replaced? As you all might already know by now, the Pro Bowl doesn't have the best reputation. The primary reason behind that was obvious. It was too close to the Super Bowl weekend. But even aside from that, most players simply didn't want to risk injury for a game that ultimately did nothing for their career. Something like an all-star event makes sense for a non-contact sport like basketball or baseball, but when it comes to the NFL, it was completely unnecessary. Not only was the NFL not able to get fans' attention with the Pro Bowl, but it also wasn't able to get the players' attention. If you've ever seen a Pro Bowl game, you know that players will usually play in a more reserved style and will avoid tackling or making any risky moves. They play a contact sport while trying to avoid the contact part. It was clear that the Pro Bowl simply failed as a concept altogether. It failed to generate hype among fans, players didn't want to play in it, and it was simply bad. However, with these new changes, we will likely see some hype generated for the games, but whether that hype lasts or not is still a mystery. Next, what will happen during the Pro Bowl? The Pro Bowl is going to be split into two different events. One will be the flag game, which is sort of like a non-contact version of football, and the other will be the skills competition event. It will all take place on something called the Pro Bowl weekend, and it'll give a chance for players to show off all of their skills, win a few awards, and get their legacy strengthened. The choice of a flag game has been praised by many people, even though flag games don't normally have the best reputation since players usually play in a more reserved style during the Pro Bowl anyways. Flag games just seemed like the best option. The skill competition part is a bit vague and unclear for now. The NFL hasn't exactly announced what sort of competitions will be taking place. Most people expect it to be at least somewhat football related, but it could very well be something like a hot dog eating contest. The goal here may be to provide entertainment to viewers instead of a highly competitive sporting event. After all, there's no shortage of competitiveness in the NFL already, so why not have another event where players can have a little bit more fun? Coming up, Matthew Stafford praises the new Pro Bowl. Matthew Stafford is a recent Super Bowl winner and former Pro Bowl team member. When the NFL announced some of the changes they would be making to the Pro Bowl format, Matthew Stafford was one of the first to speak out in favor of it. He said that the best part would be the ability to get guys to play faster. He mentioned that the most fun part of the Pro Bowl was traditionally the passing game, and with the format changing to a flag game, it'll only enhance that aspect. When asked about who his first pick would be to play on his hypothetical team in the Pro Bowl, Stafford said that it would be a toss-up between Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill, and Justin Jefferson. He believes that any one of these players would be world-class at a flag game, and since it won't be like a traditional touchdown game, coaches will actually have to take a different approach to how they recruit players. Overall, it seems like the Pro Bowl is definitely going to be interesting in the beginning. As time passes, the NFL will hopefully also start to adjust some of the rules to make the games more interesting. Up next, Jackie Slater reacts to the Pro Bowl. Jackie Slater has been a part of the Pro Bowl a total of 7 times in his career, so he of all people should know what the event was lacking and some of its downsides. The NFL legend was quick to react to the news of the change in format, and he had nothing but good things to say about it. He said that the previous format of the Pro Bowl was an absolute disgrace to our sport. He pointed out that it wasn't always like this, but with time, the lack of interest being shown by the NFL and the players caused it to turn into this. He said that the changes were absolutely overdue. Aside from Jackie and Matthew, a lot of other Pro Bowl veterans have praised the new change in format. It really seems like absolutely nobody liked the way the Pro Bowl turned out, and this change might be the key to reviving the once prestigious event altogether. The first Pro Bowl with the new format is going to take place in early February 2023, and it will end on February 5th with the flag football game. Now, let's take a look at some other related stories. First, NFL may make changes to how MVPs are voted. Becoming an MVP is one of the biggest honors an athlete can have in any sport, and the MVP award has always been one of the NFL's most prestigious awards. However, despite its legacy, it seems like the Associated Press wants to bring about some changes in the way that MVPs are voted for. This is mainly because it has become way too easy to predict how players can become MVPs. On top of being highly predictable, MVP awards simply aren't that interesting anymore. That's why the AP is thinking of switching to a ranked choice system instead of a plurality voting system. This way, there will be 2 rounds of voting. The first round will include a large pool of candidates, and whoever makes it to the top 2 will move on to the next round. Then, whoever gets the majority of the votes in the second round will win the MVP award. Up next, NFL supports Miami in Tua Tagovailoa concussion investigation. Tua Tagovailoa was looking to be one of the brightest prospects in the NFL for a while. He was a first-round number 5 pick for the Miami Dolphins, and he previously had one of the best college records out there. However, in the third week of the current season, Tua injured his head during a game against the Buffalo Bills. After receiving emergency medical tests, the 24-year-old was allowed back into the field to eventually score a touchdown and lead the Dolphins to victory. However, letting Tua go back into the field may have been a violation of the NFLPA concussion protocols. So far, the NFL has supported the Miami Dolphins by saying they did nothing wrong. Only time will tell how this investigation turns out. And finally, an injury update for Week 3. Aside from Tua Tagovailoa, a lot of players have suffered from injuries during or before Week 3 of the current season. Arizona Cardinals offensive lineman Justin Pugh injured his elbow, Baltimore Ravens left tackle Patrick McCarry injured his ankle, Carolina Panthers cornerback Dante Jackson injured his neck, Chicago Bears running back David Montgomery injured his knee and ankle, and about a dozen other players also went out of action. No injured player made a return to the NFL this week either, which means that this might be one of the most injury-prone seasons in the history of the NFL. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think the new rules could revive the Pro Bowl's popularity? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.